Hi, welcome back to my channel. If you've noticed, my camera quality has massively improved because I found my camera and I'm very excited about it because honestly I think that the quality of my content was going to be massively limited by the fact that my phone had such a terrible camera quality and my old camera has such terrible camera quality. So hopefully we can actually start dishing out some content again and it'd be fun to interact and talk about things. I was hoping, to be honest, to just do like a bit of a catch up and chit chat about the universe, to be honest, because I already filmed this on my old camera, but it was probably really bad quality anyway, so let's just let it be, because I feel like through the last seasons I always like to talk about my seasons of adulting on this channel, so then I can be relatable to other people, because I feel like sometimes people, it's just like a personal like a journal for me, or like not necessarily a journal, but it's like I like talking about things I've learned and I like talking about the process I'm going through, because I think life is just so complicated and there's so many things that happen and there's so many lessons to learn, and I just feel like, you know, for the fun. I don't know, I just feel like in the last recent few seasons, or the last season or so, I feel like because I've done this video recently of talking about like swapping paths and like being like completely sure in a situation and being completely like 100% on like an ideology or like a belief system, but then I suppose going with the flow a little bit and actually being able to humble yourself and be like, okay, maybe I'm a little bit wrong, because I definitely think like on the level of like CPTSD, it's where you can, I feel like you can have like belief systems, because I'm massive on like changing and healing on your belief systems, but I think it's easy to have belief systems that are like deeply rooted, which again, I don't like to push my spirituality on people, but like if you're a believer of past lives, to think that like, you know, have certain belief systems that are potentially from past lives that you're unaware of in particular, because the brain is a complex thing. I think it's like it's not unmanageable, it's not like what's the word, not manageable, but like you can't, it's not that you can't steer it and like master it, but the fact is when you have any level of life experience that doesn't maybe align with, and this is another thing I'm learning as well, I think the brain and the experience of life is actually not conducive to the way that life feeds us this personal, for me, I definitely perceive or have perceived very much a message, shall we say, from life in general and the way that I've been conditioned, at least personally, even though I suppose this probably comes from my personal experience, because I feel like at school I was a bit of a try hard, and I have spoken about this in the past about what I've perceived about toxic work culture and things like that. I definitely feel like I've definitely perceived this like message of life is like, when you talk about manifestation, the laws of attraction, I don't think life is designed to have a one track, if I'm honest, and I don't think it's like you're not always gonna have like, because I feel like in recent periods I've gone through like serious, sorry if the lighting's absolutely shocking, I haven't got a ring light or anything on the moment, I'm literally using natural light, so it's a bit questionable, I can't really do a lot about it, I am sorry. So I feel like in recent periods, like I've literally gone through like massive periods of growth, because I feel like, you know, when people like go through like those times where you just like really focus on yourself, and I feel like I've definitely had those periods in recent times, just because I've been like single and you know, in the time that I was single and everything, and that really served me. And I think there's always something to be said for like taking time for yourself and things like that, but I also think like if you're planning to, like, I realise that I can't be in that place like 24/7, and I can't expect to just like be consistently growing 24/7, and I can't be in a place where I'm just like constantly healing 24/7 either, because I think for people, because I only speak for myself because I've had mental health problems, I consider my past quite traumatic just with the experiences that I had as a person, and I know everyone has their fair share of crap, which if anyone else has seen my channel, I'm very liberal about that, and I don't push anything down anyone's neck, and I don't pretend to be a psychologist, but I do think that like, given my fair share of drama and trauma that I've experienced, I would argue that for those people that have experienced all that kind of stuff, it takes a lot to heal from it, and we often find things a little bit harder than someone that maybe doesn't have trauma in that area, but I suppose everyone has their bullshit. But you know, I also think that like, for that reason, it can be helpful to like take those periods of time for yourself, But obviously, you know, if you're going to be taking that time for yourself all the time, I think I don't want to, like, you know, I don't want to, do you know what I mean? You have to go with the flows of life. Like, it's okay to take periods of time for yourself and then be like, then for other periods take less time for yourself and spend more time doing other things, spending it with friends, blowing your money on things that you don't need. Do you know what I mean? I've realised it's all about moderation, it's all about balance, because realistically, and that is kind of scary, especially, and I don't think, and I'm not to say that like life doesn't bring you horrible situations and horrible circumstances and horrible people and horrible traumas, but at the same time I'm like definitely learning the level that like if you're to expect like one track and like the universe itself, even because I've been very much into like in the last few like seasons and last year in particular, you know, trying to manifest and deal with the law of attraction. Again, I don't really like pushing spirituality, and I'm not saying that those things aren't demonic too in some level, but I also would say like in balance, I try to balance my spirituality because I was brought up religious, so I feel like that was another thing. But I think even looking to the universe in all areas, it can be like, you can not really get anything because I think sometimes the universe just isn't communicating anything, like through your circumstances, through how you're feeling, you know, you have to just go on whim and spontaneity and be like, and just like shoot, do you know what I mean? Just like shoot in the direction that you're going, just like take a chance, do you know what I mean? And that doesn't mean to say that like you can't get things wrong and that you shouldn't move with logic and strategy, but like within reason. But I think what I'm saying is like you can be overly proportionate, have over precautions, where I feel like I did a podcast recently and I don't think I've uploaded it, but really I was talking about like having like a comfort zone, and then outside your comfort zone is like your fear zone, and then outside your fear zone where you're like, okay, like, oh, I don't like feel like super comfortable, and outside of that it's like your some other zone, but then it's like your growth zone. So it's like if you're going to stay out like in your comfort zone outside your fear zone, like you're not going to grow, is what I mean. And I feel like it's staying in your comfort zone sometimes to be like, okay, I totally understand, because I feel like for seasons and times, I would even argue, it's very much like, you know, that feeling in your gut of like, this is wrong or this is right, or I definitely want to do this, or definitely don't want to do this, I definitely feel like I'm moving in the right way, I'm definitely moving in the wrong way. Do you know what I mean? But you're not always going to get that gut feeling, because we know, we like, you know, at the end of the day your body communicates with you logic, but then there's also that space to be held, and I feel like I've done loads of videos about this in the past, of the fact that your body like works as a computer, and like if you don't, we learn from contrast, and so if you don't have like a contrasting or experience that's going to kind of question what you're dealing with, or like make you learn more about life or a topic or a subject or a person or an experience or life as a whole, or whatever comes with any experience in life, like you're not going to understand it. So that's where the space is, I swear, for like trying new things. But I think again it's a balance. And I swear when you say stuff like logically it like completely makes sense, but I feel like it's so easy to just be lost in the realms of life, to just, especially as a woman, I would argue especially as a woman, but I don't really want to just be like sexist here, because I'm sure it's very easy for every gender, but I think especially as a woman, the only reason I say that is when you talk about like a menstrual cycle and stuff, and like when you go through your like stages of, you know, your lunar cycle, and sometimes it's just like, why is life like this? Why can't I get this and that and the other? And there's a space for desire. But like I feel like when it comes to things like manifestation, it's helpful to write down what your goals are, because other things that life has taught me in the recent seasons is it is so possible to like achieve your goals. Like it's possible to plan to achieve, like to fail to plan is to plan to fail. I definitely feel like if it's not for you, you will not do it, but it's also helpful to be like, even to like write down something so you know what you want, whether you go for it or whether you don't go for it. It's like life, I feel like, will lay out a plan for you to pursue those goals if life is supposed to. But at the same time, like you could be like, actually, do you know what, even though I think that I want this, I actually don't. And I feel like that's where journaling is really helpful as well, at least it has been for me, because I feel like that's where like I notice, and I've said this before about journaling, like when you spit it all out on a pad, I feel like so much shit comes out that you don't actually know that you think, and you just can like spit out so much shit that isn't actually what you believe to be true, and isn't actually in alignment with what you want or what you believe. It can just be an indoctrination of how you feel, or it can be a manifestation of what you feel, or a manifestation of what you've experienced, and that's where you can change it, and that's where you have the autonomy. And I really love hypnosis for that as well. Just like dropping all my like self-care tips. But yeah, because I just feel like these videos are important for like people when like you need a pep talk, because I definitely feel like I need a pep talk sometimes. I have bought this like manifestation journal, or this like witchy journal or some shit. Like, I'm not advocating for any of that stuff, but I bought one, and it taught me to do like a letter for like when I'm feeling like my light has gone and I feel like in a dark place, or like not necessarily a dark place, it makes it sound like I've like leaned towards depression, which I don't, but like in a place where you're just like a bit fed up and you're just like, oh, what now? Do you know what I mean? Where I've just written in that like it's actually quite good. I feel like I would advocate for doing that though, just to be like, have like a list of a few things that you feel like you would be good at doing, like, you know, listening to your favourite songs, watching your favourite films, like doing some sort of meditative technique, spiritual practice, blah blah blah, that makes you like feel better, how, like cuddling your favourite soft toy and all this stuff. And then just like have a few words to like be like, okay, like list a few good things about yourself and how you always try and how things will get better and things like that. And it's just, I feel like adulting is like, in part, when I look at it in truth, even as an ADHDer, where I feel like I'm definitely getting to that point where like my frontal lobe is developing, it's definitely about like resilience in the everyday. And with that, I feel like there can be this eccentricity, I think, of the inner child I experience, of feeling like when you adult everything is easy, and like bearing in mind, I suppose, as you become an adult, like you can practice things do come more naturally, I would argue, than maybe when you were younger. Maybe not more naturally, more practiced, and potentially more naturally, one would argue, maybe. But I also think like there's a whole load of other shit that, it's not like other shit, but it's like adulting is just a different realm, and I hope to continue documenting what I'm finding about these things, because I think it is a complex place, and obviously everyone's place in it is going to be different, and we're all going to have a different outlook and stuff. Obviously I can mainly talk from mine, but I will probably just put it in like a logical spouting. But I don't know, I suppose everyone finds what works for them, but I think sometimes I do find that like I can take inspo from people that I see on YouTube and stuff, and then I think, okay, cool, like even if it's a vibe, if it's just like a vibe and I'm like, oh my god, yeah, that's the vibe moving forward today, or however, and you just need to, and I really want to bring that, because I definitely need it, and I want to be what you want, be what you want to see. Lol, I literally did a video named that. And I think it's okay, like, to try and inspire yourself. Like, why would you, like, look at other people to inspire you? But if you can inspire yourself, do you know what I mean? Like, that's where you want to be. Like, you want to inspire your, you know, you got to think, you want to inspire your children, you want to inspire yourself. Because sometimes I look at my old videos and I think, oh yeah, like, not so much my old videos, because you grow and you mature, but I think it's nice. I used to do it when I'd look at like old pictures and stuff, and I'd look at them and be like, oh, like that was such a good time, maybe I should like re-experience that sort of thing that I was going through then, and blah blah blah. I don't take as many pictures as I used to, so and I did a lot more like different things when I was like a young adult than what I do now. But reading as well, for any of those people that have anxiety like myself, or they're introverts and they don't know what to do in public, like I've like really taken, and I have like a picture that I'm going to post on Instagram in a minute actually, of me just like vibing out in Costa. Like Costa's a cafe in England, and like Costas are like my way, like going out for a coffee is on my own, is like the best thing, and I try and do it like weekly. I feel like going out on your own and experiencing life, even whether it's like going to a shop or like going to like run some errands or whatever, it is essential in my experience for me, because of my anxiety, and it really helps me navigate life in a more comfortable way, to go out near people. And often I have my headphones in, I can't lie, I do often have my headphones in, and I think that's just an overstimulation issue, potentially related to like undiagnosed autism that I have, but I'm okay with that, because I like to listen to music, and that's okay. absolutely nothing wrong with that whatsoever, because I'm getting done what I want to get done. But I also think just being out, I didn't actually have them in today and I was absolutely fine, but for those of us that experience anxiety and they don't know what to do around people, carry a fucking book. And if you don't like reading, I've not been a massive person that's been brilliant on reading, but recently I have, and my camera is about to overheat, so I think that's the universe saying for me to end it. But yes, thanks for listening, and sorry if it was a bit rambly, but I really just wanted to use my camera again. Bye!